Hello, welcome to Life Wisdom with Ed Langan, the place to come for practical and spiritual growth, learning, information, and life wisdom from the guides. Life Wisdom stands for love, inspiration, faith, and empowerment. On this spiritual talk show, we talk about everything from self-love and creating your own reality to quantum physics and what your soul wants you to know. I'm your host, Ed Langan. I am a psychic channel for ascended masters and others. I am a life coach, a law of attraction expert, and a spiritual teacher. Other than that, I'm just a regular dude, whatever that might be. On this episode of Life Wisdom, we're going to talk about understanding and releasing emotions. This is going to be a deep dive. We're going to talk about what our emotions are for. We're going to talk about why we have them. Interesting question. Why do we have emotions? And we're going to work on releasing emotions. We're going to do an EFT tapping about releasing emotions. And I have another script for you after that also about releasing emotions. So it's going to be a deep dive about emotions. And it's not lost on me or the guides that, it's pretty funny that have a man talking about emotions. Yes, we actually do have emotions, although a lot of us will never admit it. I'm admitting it. Yes, we do. So anyway, the second part of the show, I will channel the guides and I will answer any questions that people have. You can, in the live chat, you can send questions in. I do have one question ahead of time from Marge, which we will get to, and then we'll go from there. I'll bring the guides in. So that's what the show is going to be about. I'd just like to thank everybody for liking and sharing my show and all the shows on Star Nations. We really appreciate it. By you liking and sharing the shows, you're making this information available to the people who are looking for it, the people who are seeking it, and you're spreading the teaching, you're spreading this information, and we really appreciate that. And in the Facebook universe, Facebook likes and shares, and also makes it easier for other people to find it. So thank you from all of us at Star Nations. We really appreciate it. And Marge and I also appreciate it. So thank you for everybody who's doing that. We really appreciate it. There's also great shows on Star Nations. So if you haven't looked around a little bit and checked it out, it's something you should check out. Neshi does two wonderful shows. She does a daily card draw, and she does a show, Communications from Home, two wonderful shows. My friend Polly Jo also does two shows, and her second show is so popular that they've extended it to almost 2 hours. So Polly Jo does a chakra show and a soul communication show. I have the information here. I'm forgetting the appropriate names. Chakra Sessions and Soul Connections is the other one. And Maureen Mann, another one of my friends, also does angel therapy, and her show is so popular they're extending that to 90 minutes. So there's lots of shows. There's a mystery school show. There are some other channeled shows. So there's wonderful information, and your liking and sharing this makes this information available to everybody who's searching for it. And everybody here at Star Nations, we really appreciate that. So thank you very much. All right. I think we're good. Let's see who's joining us live today. Let's see who's there. Oh, Julie Shumway Hill is here. Good morning, Julie. Good afternoon. Nice to see you. I'm glad you're here. Christine is here. Hi, Christine. I love your artwork. I saw some of the work you did the other day. It's beautiful. Neshi is here. Hi, Neshi. How are you? Glad you're here. And Maureen. Hi, Maureen. Maureen Mann is here. She has a great show. You guys need to check out her show. And Marge is doing a great job getting everybody up there and getting all the posts. I'm liking and sharing the live stream right now. This is good info. Thank you, Neshi. I appreciate that. And we really appreciate, as I've been saying, everybody who likes and shares it. It makes a big difference to us. Before we get started, I just want to remind you that one of the other things that Marge and I do is we have a meditation and prayer Facebook group. And once a month for 10 minutes, we meditate. If you meditate, and if you don't, you can pray for peace, love, harmony, and healing. And it's going to be on Monday, April 22nd, and it's for 10 minutes from 7 p.m. our time to 7:10 p.m. our time, which is the Eastern time. And we just ask everybody to join in with us and send a wave of positive energy out into the world. So that information is there in the post. Marga's doing a great job getting that up, and we hope you'll join us. Good. If you are just tuning in, I just want to let you know that this is Life Wisdom with Ed Langan, and I just happen to be Ed Langan. So good, you're in the right place. You ready? Let's do this. How many emotions do we have? Now, this is an interesting question, and we ask this question in our workshops all the time, and we have heard answers from anywhere from 5 emotions to millions of emotions. And I always find that interesting. The actual answer is there are 2. 2, Ed? Really? 2? Only 2? Yes, only 2. There are all these over here, and all of these feel good. There's all these flavors and all these degrees, but all of them feel good. So this emotion is the emotion of love. Then there's all these over here. I'm trying to keep my hands in the screen. And there's all these flavors and all these degrees, but all of these feel bad. And these are fear. So there's only 2, love and fear. Now, occasionally someone will say to us, well, wait a minute, Ed, hold on now. The opposite of love is hate. And no, the opposite of love is fear, because fear because hate can only arise from fear. So hate is a derivative of fear. A Course in Miracles says there are only 2 emotions. The teachings of Abraham say there are only 2 emotions. There are other spiritual teachings out there that say there are only 2 emotions, love and fear. Why is this important? Glad you asked. That's a good question. It's letting you know in the moment how you're modulating your energy and how you're letting your energy flow. The love side is the allowing side. So when you're in any emotion from sort of contentment to joy to happy to eager, excited, passionate, joyful, anything, you're in the love side and you're allowing your energy to flow. The energy is easily flowing through your system. When you're in the fear side, which is anywhere from slightly frustrated to angry to depressed to mad to revenge to all of those things, any of those over there, you're in the asking side. Now, here's the interesting thing. Asking is not a bad thing, because we didn't come here to sit underneath a tree and meditate our entire lives away. We came here to meditate sometimes and to do sometimes. My Facebook earlier this morning was about the balance of the masculine and the feminine energy. So it's about doing both. It's about receiving and then putting into action, receiving and putting into action. So being in fear is not a problem because you're asking. Now, here's the catch. We came here, and when we were incarnated, when we were born, we decided that we were going to spend 90% of our time in love and 10% of our time asking, in fear, asking. And for most people, what's happening is they're spending 90% of their time in asking in fear and 10% of their time in receiving. So that's why things got a little wonky. The fear isn't bad. The asking isn't bad as long as you don't live there, but most people live there. So that's why we need to shift our energy, and we need to understand that. And that's part of why we're going to talk about emotions today. Now, occasionally people ask me this question, and I'm sure some of you are thinking, and it's a good question. I'm glad you're asking. Thank you. How do you know that? And our answer is, think about when you're angry. What does that feel like? You know, you feel bottled up, you feel tight, you feel tense, you feel like you're going to explode, because you can literally feel that you're not letting your energy flow. You can literally feel it. That's why it feels like you're going to blow up. It feels like you're going to explode. So What we would like you to do when you feel that way is reach back for something that makes you feel better. Now, you're not going to be able to jump. The law of attraction is not going to let you jump from anger all the way back to love and joy and passion. It's too big of a jump. The energy's too far. You can't do that. But you can reach for hope. I hope I feel better. I hope I let this go. I hope I can relax about this. This is a temporary situation. This too will pass. Things will move on, and start moving your energy back over to the receiving side. One of the things that we talk about in law of attraction is everything is vibration. The way I remember that is everything is playing a song to the universe. Think about it. The song of asking is not the same song as receiving. So you can't ask and stay in that energy and receive the answer. You have to move over to the love side, to the connected, to the allowing side. Do you understand that? It's two different energies. It's two different vibrations. So that's the first question. How many emotions do we have? And the answer is 2. What are our emotions for? That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. And here's the answer. Your emotions are communication from your higher self to your conscious self. Now, that's a mouthful, so I'm going to say that again. Your emotions are communication from your higher self to your conscious self. What does that mean? It means, excuse me, it means that your soul communicates with you through emotions, through feelings. Interesting. Why would your soul communicate with you through feelings? And we ask this question in the workshops, and we come up with all different kinds of answers. And the answer for this particular case is extremely logical. Words are squirrely, especially English. The word squirrely, and I forgot to get a picture of a squirrel, but Marge is doing a great job putting up the other pictures. The word squirrely means 4 different things. If you look in a dictionary, there's 11 different definitions for the word fresh. The word bolt has 5 different definitions to it. So words are squirrely. But the other part about that is, which is even more logical, is words are the area of your ego mind. So when you're hearing words, it's your ego mind. It's your thinking process, which can come from the ego mind. So can you imagine the ego getting a hold of that? Oh, that's not what your soul meant. That's not what it said. It said that, right? Think of the chaos that would ensue from that. Your emotions are communication from your higher self to your conscious self. That's how your soul communicates with you. So as you pay attention to the emotions and to the subtle frequencies and to the slight differences, it's letting you know if you're letting your energy flow, if you're in the allowing part, or if you're in the asking part. And that's really important information to know. And as we said, being in asking is not a bad thing unless you live there. But you do want to be in the allowing. So as you're feeling these emotions and you know where you are, am I allowing? Am I asking? That makes a difference and helps you modulate your energy and move your energy. This question comes up once in a while, and I want to share it with you while the guides are reminding me. People say, well, doesn't my soul speak through me in words? Usually, if you're hearing some sort of word communication or something to that effect, and you realize that it's not your ego, it's more than likely your guides. It's usually not your soul. So just keep that in mind. Your soul communicates with you through feelings, through emotions. Excellent. Good. The other thing that's important about your feelings, your emotions, is navigation. Now, what does that mean? Well, when you get into your car and you turn on your GPS system, it wants to know 2 things. It wants to know where you are and where you're going. That way it can get you from point A to point B. When you use your thoughts, we can think ourselves anywhere. So right now we could do a vibrational booster and we could talk about being in Hawaii, and you can all feel it. We can see the palm trees and we can hear the wind rustling through them, and we can feel the sand under our toes, and we can smell the surf and the sound of the ocean, and we can feel the humidity, and we can see the beautiful sunlight, and we can see the diamonds of light dancing on the ocean. We can see all of that. And that's all our thoughts that are putting us there. And we're actually, as we continue to tell that story, eventually you'll begin to feel it. The thing is, our thoughts can also get us into trouble, because we can start telling ourselves the story of being sick, or we can tell ourselves the story of being somewhere where we shouldn't be, where we could potentially be in danger. So you need 2 points of navigation. So the first point is your thoughts, and then the second point is your emotions. Without them, neither one works really that well. Because when we're creating, we're using our thoughts. We know our thoughts create our reality. We get what we think about. But if we have no way of monitoring where our thoughts are leading us, that can be a problem. That's where your emotions come in. So it's 2 parts of the navigation: your thoughts and your emotions. Good. Excellent. Why do we have to release our emotions? Why do we tend to hold on to them? Why do we tend to pull them in and keep them? It's mostly because of fear. It's mostly because we haven't learned how to deal with our emotions. My friend Polly Jo has said to me many times, not many times, a few times when I've talked to her about this, is that men are allowed to show anger, but they're not allowed to be sad. And women are allowed to be sad, but it's frowned upon when they're angry. And it's so, depending on what emotions we've been taught are socially appropriate, those will tend to show, and the ones that aren't, we will stuff down. And we'll put them down. Oh no, I'm triggered, in my pocket, get away, I don't want you, out, 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 and we stuff them down. Now, the thing with stuffing down emotions is, sooner or later, they're going to come out. You can't hold them all down into your energy system. It's a giant waste of energy. Now, my sister Ann told me this, and it was a brilliant analogy. It's like trying to hold a ball underwater. Now, holding this ball underwater does not take a whole lot of energy at all. So suppressing an emotion like this when it first starts is not a big deal. That's an easy thing to do, and it's easy to hold that underwater. However, when it gets to be the size of a playground ball, now it's a much more of a commitment and a much more use of your energy to try to hold that down and try to keep that energy down. And it keeps growing. It keeps getting bigger. The emotion keeps getting bigger. And every time you have the emotion and you stuff it back down, it gets bigger until eventually it's the size of a yoga ball. Can you imagine the energy it takes to hold a ball that size underwater? You're wasting your energy. You're wasting lots and lots of energy. The other thing is as we're holding these in our system, in our energy system, they can eventually lead to disease. They can eventually lead us to wearing ourselves out. They can eventually lead us to wearing out the body. So the emotions are going to come out one way or another. They're going to be released at some point. They're going to bubble up. They're going to come out. So that's why it's important to learn how to release the emotions and how to let them go. Emotions are an important part of our makeup. And when we understand that they are communication from our higher self to our conscious self, then they become less of a big deal. Because, so here's a question for you. And it's a good question. I'm glad you asked it. The question is anger good or bad? And the answer to that is yes. Anger is good or bad depending on how you frame it. So we're going to frame it as, yes, it's good, because anger is communication from your higher self to your conscious self. So your soul is letting you know that in this moment, whatever it is that you're focused on, you believe is stopping your energy from flowing. You believe that it's blocking you from getting what you want. You believe that it's in the way of what you want. It's causing your expectation not to be met or something to that effect, and you're having a hissy fit. And when you understand that, and understand that if there's anger, this is a really, really important subject to me, and there's lots of desire around it, and you say, okay, I'm feeling angry, which means I'm off my focus. I'm not letting my energy flow. I need to find a way to allow this to move through and not stay in anger. Now, I'm going to tell myself, because I can, I used to get angry. Maybe I'd have a disagreement with Marge, or maybe I'd get mad at work, or whatever it might be. And I would stay angry for 3 days. And then at the end of the third day, I would sort of come out of it and get back to normal and get back to life. That's a giant waste of 3 days. When you can feel the communication from your soul, that anger, okay, I'm focused on something that's really important to me and I'm not letting my energy flow. How do I reframe this? How do I let my energy flow? And then move back, reach for hope, reach for moving back and connecting. I hope that's making sense for you. Don't waste your day, your life being in anger. I know there's people who do that. I know there's people who I love who are angry all the time. Hopefully they're watching and this is making sense to them. All right. Good. I think we're going to do an EFT tapping script on releasing emotions. I'm going to take this and put this right up here like that. Okay. And if you remember from last time, I have to take my glasses off. You're going to disappear. Where the tapping points are, we always start with the karate chop, which is right here on this part of the hand. The next tapping point is the eyebrow right here. And then the side of the eye, and the under the eye, under your nose, right here, middle of your nose, your chin, collarbone, down and out an inch. Just use your whole hand and cover that up. And then the wrist is right here. We're going to do the wrist and then the top of the head. So those are the points. I remember from, from every time what you guys have said, so I'm going to go slow. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read the phrase first, and then I'm going to read it back with you, and we're going to say it together. And when I read it back the second time, I will say it much slower. So we're going to start with the karate chop. We're going to do 3 statements that are in 2 halves with the karate chop, and then we'll go through the tapping points. Remember, the first round is negative to wind the energy up, to get you all wound up about it. And then the second 2 rounds are positive to move the energy out. So here we go. Even though I have stuffed down my feelings, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And now we're going to say it together. Even though I have stuffed down my feelings, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Good. Even though I don't always feel like feeling my emotions, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Now all of us together. Even though I don't always like feeling my emotions, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. All right, one more on the karate chop. Even though I misunderstood what my feelings are for, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. All right, all of us together. Even though I misunderstood what my feelings are for, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Good. So right here at the beginning of the eyebrow, I have stuffed down my feelings. And together, I have stuffed down my feelings. Side of the eye. I have been taught to ignore my feelings. I have been taught to ignore my feelings. Under the eye. It's not safe or okay to feel my emotions. It's not safe or okay to feel my emotions. Under the nose. It's not safe to express my emotions. It's not safe to express my emotions. Right here on your chin. Emotions are painful. Emotions are painful. Collarbone. It's hard to feel emotions. It's hard to feel emotions. Wrist. Right here. I don't like feeling like this. I don't like feeling like this. Top of the head. Instead of getting overwhelmed by my emotions, I stuff them away. Instead of getting overwhelmed by my emotions, I stuff them away. Take a deep breath. Good. Now we're going to do the positive round. And again, it starts with 3 times on the karate chop. And then we're going to go into the points again. So we're going to start with the karate chop, which is right here. And the first one is, I am willing and ready to release my emotions that I have been stuffing down, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And together, I am willing and ready to release my emotions that I have been stuffing down, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Good. I am willing and ready to release my emotions that I have been holding on to, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. All right, and together, I am willing and ready to release my emotions that I have been holding on to, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. All right, turn the page here, and the karate chop one more time. I am willing and ready to release all of my emotional baggage, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. All together, I am willing and ready to release all of my emotional baggage, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Good. Here we go through the points. My emotions are going to come out at some point. My emotions are going to come out at some point. Side of the eye. I want to release my emotional baggage. I want to release my emotional baggage. Under the eye. I can release my emotions without them overwhelming me. I can release my emotions without them overwhelming me. Under the nose. Emotions are energy vibrations. Emotions are energy vibrations. Chin. Emotions are part of my guidance. Emotions are part of my guidance. Collarbone. Emotions are good. Emotions are good. Wrist. Emotions are how my soul communicates with me. Emotions are how my soul communicates with me. Top of the head. Emotions let me know where my focus is, and that's a good thing. Emotions let me know where my focus is, and that's a good thing. Take a deep breath. Perfect. And now we're going to do the last positive round. And again, it starts with the karate chop. So we start with the karate chop, and we're going to repeat. There's 3 phrases on the karate chop, then we move through the points. So the first one is, I am willing and ready to release my emotions that I have been stuffing down, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I am willing and ready to release my emotions that I have been stuffing down, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I am willing and ready to release my emotions that I've been holding onto, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. All together. I am willing and ready to release my emotions that I have been holding onto, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Or one more on the karate chop. I am willing and ready to release my emotional baggage, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. All together. I am willing and ready to release all of my emotional baggage, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Good. Now the tapping points. Start at the eyebrow. I can feel my feelings and release them. I can feel my feelings and release them. Side of the eye. I am keeping my power and not giving it away to my emotions. I am keeping my power and not giving it away to my emotions. Under the eye. My feelings are half of my navigation system. My feelings are half of my navigation system. Under the nose. Negative feelings are meant to be felt and released. Negative feelings are meant to be felt and released. Chin. My emotions let me know what I am broadcasting to the world. My emotions let me know what I am broadcasting to the world. Collarbone. How I feel is my vibration and what I am attracting. How I feel is my vibration and what I am attracting. Wrist. I am now choosing to only hold on to positive emotions. I am now choosing to only hold on to my positive emotions. Top of the head. I am now choosing to only hold on to positive vibrations. I am now choosing to only hold on to positive vibrations. Take a deep breath. Excellent. There we go. And we'll get that off of there. So that is our tapping scripts for releasing emotions, and that will be on, we'll post that in the comments right after the show, so that if you guys want to print it and have a copy of it, it will be there and available for you. Good. Let's see if anybody has any comments about the tapping. While we do, Esperanza is here. Hi, Esperanza. How are you? I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Jackie is here. Hello, Jackie. How are you? Glad you're here. Mara is here. You're welcome, Mara. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. I also want to let you know, while Marge is continuing to put up any comments about the tapping, that yesterday, the Star Nations magazine, the April issue, was released and is available. And I only have a picture of it because I get a digital copy, and it is available. The second part of my column is in this issue. And if you guys are interested, you can connect with Star Nation and get a copy of that. Excellent. Good. All right. I guess that's all the comments about the tapping. Hopefully it helped. Now I have another script here that we're going to talk about, which is about feeling and releasing emotions. This is a way to move through the emotions so that they don't overwhelm you and that you don't hold them in your body. So you can just feel them, acknowledge them, and let them go. So the first thing, number one, Allow yourself to feel the emotion and just observe it. Don't necessarily join in with it or connect it. Just observe it. Look at it from the outside. What does it feel like in your body? Now, interesting, I was listening to a song when I was driving home from work the other night, and I got a little emotional while I was listening to it, and I immediately got a stabbing pain in my knee. And I was like, wow, isn't that fascinating? And as soon as I stepped back and looked at it, the pain went away. So what does it feel like in your body? Number 3, is your body expanded or contracted? Number 4, is there pain in an area of your body? As there was pain in my knee. Notice what's going on in your thoughts. And I knew exactly what was going on in my thoughts, and I'm not surprised that I had pain when I was thinking that. And as soon as I shifted my thoughts, I felt better. So in my particular case, the next number 6 is, are your thoughts positive or negative? They were negative. And that's why I had such a stabbing pain. All right, number 7. Was there a lot of chatter in your mind, or was your mind still? That's important. Is the critic or the ego mind yammering away at you, or is your mind relatively quiet and focused? Number 8. What is the emotion? What name or label would you give to it? What would you say it is? Okay. And where are we? Number 9. Try to feel the frequency or vibration of it and notice what it feels like. What does it feel like? Number 10, does it feel like stress or anger or worry or fear, or what does it feel like? Simply observe the emotion from a neutral standpoint and allow it to dissipate. You don't have to hold on to them. Receive the guidance, understand what it is, understand where it's coming from, and then let it go. Allowing it is the fastest way to move through it, so that you're not trying to hold a giant yoga ball underwater and you're not wasting all that energy. You're letting it go. So feel your emotions, get the communication from your soul, and then release them. There's no need to hold on to them. Good. Excellent. All right. So before we bring in the guides, we're just going to check and see if anybody had any other comments. I'll give Marge a second, who is doing a great job with the photos and producing the show and flying the plane as she always does. She does an amazing job. I enjoyed the tapping. Thank you for sharing it with us. Well, thank you, Tanya. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's good. All right. Excellent. Well, I hope lots of other people get to use the tapping in the archives, and I hope it helps them. And as we said, it'll be in the and Neshi's putting the information up if you want to get a copy of the Star Nations magazine that I was just talking about. And as I was saying, they're trying to call me on the phone. The tapping script and the other script will be in the post right at the end there, so you guys can print that if you're interested in getting the tapping. Excellent. All right. Before we bring in the guides, I just want to give you a couple of guidelines so that you know what's going on with the guides. The guides speak directly through me. Sometimes my voice changes, and that's perfectly normal. The guides can be very direct, and sometimes they're blunt, but it always comes from a place of love. The more focused and powerful the question, the more focused and powerful the answer. We do want you to remember that this is a public forum, and we don't want to air anybody's dirty laundry in public. You always have free will, and the guides are not going to take away your free will, so keep that in mind. And most importantly, the guides will give you what you need, not necessarily what you want. Okay, so let me bring them in. Just give me a second here, and I have a question from Marge, and we'll start there. So Marge's question is, why do I have knee-jerk reactions? I feel like at times I'm on autopilot. And that's a great question, and we really appreciate that question. Thank you, Marge, for asking that. And what happens is a couple of things. You have habits of thought. You have energy habits. You have thoughts that you continue to think that sink into your subconscious. And what happens is when you have a knee-jerk response is you've moved out of your connected chakras, you moved out of your heart and usually down into your lower chakras. So from your heart and above is your spiritual, connected, happy chakras. And from your heart below, and they're not negative, that's not what we mean, is your survival chakras. And most people live in their survival chakras, and that's where you have the knee-jerk responses. So when you're in the lower three chakras, or something snaps you down into the lower three chakras, you go into fight or flight, and you have a knee-jerk response. You react according to what that is. So if you feel attacked, you're going to attack in return. If you feel cheated, you're etc. So that's why, and that's why at times it moves into autopilot. Now, the other part of it is your reptile brain, which is your brain stem. Its job is for you to survive always. So here's an example of it. If when you were in school, you forgot about a test until the night before, and then you remembered, and then the night before you crammed and stayed up all night and did an all-nighter, and the next day you went and took a test and passed and did fine, your reptile brain is going to remember that you did that and that you survived, and that's going to start to become a strategy of your reptile brain for how to deal with that situation. So when it comes up again, so when you know there's a test, you'll keep forgetting till the night before, you'll cram again, and the same thing will happen. So it's almost a subconscious defense mechanism that you slide into. The thing to do is when you realize you're doing it and catching yourself doing it, or catching yourself on autopilot, is beginning to shift the energy and shift and release the energy. How can I do this better? How can I do this differently? Is this really what I want? Even if you catch yourself in mid-reaction or after the reaction, as you bring yourself back up into the higher chakras, into the connected chakras, that will help. Now, one of the things that we want to say about being in the heart chakra is people think that it can be challenging to move into different chakras. And we want to remind you, it is very easy for you to get into your heart chakra when you practice. And here is the thing that we want you to practice, or we'd like you to practice. The choice is yours. You always have free will. But this is what we would like you to practice. We would like you to practice thinking about anything that makes you smile. Anything that makes you smile puts you back into your heart chakra. And if you can string a few things together that make you smile, it'll keep you stronger in your heart chakra. And as you work on that, your energy will rise. What about baby animals? Or what about your favorite song? Or what about watching videos on Facebook with cats or dogs or something, baby animals doing silly things? Anything like that, anything that makes you smile puts you back into your heart chakra. So it's not hard to do, but it's a matter of remembering and choosing to do it to get back into your heart chakra. So we hope that answers your question, and we will see if there are any questions from anybody else. Maureen has a question. If you could ask the guide, what do I need to do next? Liking and sharing. Thank you, Maureen. What do you need to do next? Okay. We don't know if you saw our Facebook Live this morning where we were talking about the difference between feminine and masculine energy, and about the feminine energy being the receiving energy, and then the masculine energy is the doing energy, and the feminine energy has to come first and then the masculine energy. So we would take a little time to do a little bit of grounding and a little bit of meditation and ask, What is next? What is the best thing for me to do? What is the highest and best? Where is my energy going? Where is my work going? What is the next best thing for me to do? We do feel that you're starting to get a little thin, that you're getting spread a little thin. So we would like you to tighten that up. So sit in meditation and ask, what should I do next? What are the next best logical steps for me? And then when the answer comes, then take the action. But wait till the inspiration comes first and then take the action. And you may have to sit a couple of times to get that through. We do feel that there's we don't want to say static, but maybe you're a little worried or a little bit overwhelmed or a little bit, so there's a little bit of that. So see if you can get yourself really connected and then sit and expect the answer. One of the other ways that you can do it is before you go to bed at night, right before you go to sleep, get yourself in your heart center, as we were saying, and then ask your guides, what's the best next thing for me to do? And when you wake up in the morning, the idea will be in your mind. So be ready, have a pen and paper, be ready to write it down, and you will know. Okay, we're back. I don't know exactly what happened. Maybe maybe Mercury is retrograde or something. But anyway, we're back, and we were the guides were talking, so we were just checking in to see if anybody else had any questions for the guides about emotions or about anything else. Oh, okay, Julie Shumway Hill has a question for us this week. I have 2 job interviews. Any message from the guides about either of these opportunities for me? Thank you for your question, Julie. We really appreciate it. And when you have a choice between 2 things, what you do is you put the energy of one on, you sort of try it on, you put the energy, and you start to tell yourself the story of it. Tell yourself the story of doing the job, being there, doing the job, experiencing it. Make it as real for you as you can, and wait for your soul to communicate with you. Wait for you to start feeling emotions. And when you start feeling some emotions and start feeling the energy, you have the thought first, then you have the emotional response. Feel the energy of it, and then stop that one, and then go to the other one. So you're going to go down and you're going to think about the other job, put that on, and start feeling and flowing the energy of that one, telling the story, etc. And try to do it neutrally for both. Okay, and be even and fair about both of them. And one of them will feel better for you. And the one that feels better for you is the one that we would continue to flow the energy towards and take that job. Now, what we're feeling is, this is interesting, is that the difference is going to be very, very subtle, that there's not going to be a huge difference between the 2. So do the best you can to feel which one feels better for you, and that will work for you. But we feel either one is good for you, but there'll be one where you'll be able to feel it just slightly better. And that's the one that we would go. So thank you for your question. Hopefully that helps you. And Christine has a wonderful question. Is sadness fear? And we love that question. We're gonna turn that over to the guides, and the guides are going to answer that. And the answer to that is yes. Sadness is always a form of fear. And sadness, as we were saying earlier, is something that men have trouble with. That they're allowed to show anger, but they're not allowed to show sadness. So there are a lot of men who are actually really, really sad who mask it by showing anger. Sadness is always on the negative side. It's always fear. Now, think about the negative emotions for a minute. You think about anger. Anger means that this is really, really important to you, but you're not allowing you're blocking your energy. You believe whatever you're looking at is stopping you from getting what you want, and that's why you feel angry. You're having a little fit about it. Sadness is you're looking at something and believing that you can't have that, or that it won't work out, or that it's not right, or that it's not appropriate for whatever reason. And sadness is more about giving your power away. Sadness is about, this is the way it is, and there's really nothing I can do about it except feel sad. And that's not the case. So that's about giving your power away. And we've been taught, our society here teaches us to give our power away. So we want you to remember that's what sadness is. That's a wonderful question, Christine. Thank you very much for that. All right. Esperanza, how may I strengthen my trust of my intuition in determining major life changes? Doubts and other opinions cause conflict. Thank you. That's a great question, and we're glad you're asking that, and we're going to tell you a story. And the story is this. It's one of the very first Law of Attraction workshops that Marge and Ed taught, and one of the women there said, if I don't sell my house, our family is going to be in financial ruin. And this was the first time she'd ever heard about Law of Attraction. And we were teaching her about Law of Attraction. And we said to her, why don't you start with something a little bit easier so that you can practice, so that you know you're creating. No, I need to sell my house. The house has to sell. When you're starting with major things like that, there's a lot of emotional baggage already there. There's a lot of energy already there. There's a lot of stuff that needs to move through to get that clear. So one of the ways that we would do it is we would use the tapping script that we used here today. We would also use the feeling and releasing belief script that we had here today, and start releasing some of the emotional baggage. And it's a feeling exercise. It's about feeling. So think about the life change and try it on and see how it feels. See how the energy feels. And that will let you know in one way or another where to go, how to follow. If it feels good, continue in that direction. If it doesn't, try something else. The other thing is, and we say this to people all the time, make a decision. And if it turns out to be the wrong decision, make a decision. And if it turns out to be the wrong decision, make a decision. There is none of this, you made your bed, lie in it type of stuff. Make a decision and then continue and continue. You can keep moving forward. You have free will. You have power. You are creating your own reality. So create it the way that you would like it to be. Excellent. All right. We'll see if there are any other questions. We're popular today. My phone's ringing. The other phone is ringing. And it's a question here. Do I keep trying to have contact with my daughter who is distant? Pardon me. So, Anne, what we would do is we would stop trying. And we're going to explain that to you. When we teach Law of Attraction and we talk about Law of Attraction, we have people do it from I already have this. So if they're going to on a beach vacation, we say, put yourself on the beach and talk about being at the beach from I already have this. When you're trying to make something happen, you wouldn't be trying if you had it, so you don't have it. So stop trying. So that's the first thing. And what we would do is leave the contact with her for now. Don't contact her, but in your mind, start telling the story of you being with her, not from I'm trying to be with her, but from I am with her, from our relationship is repaired. We are talking again. We're connected. We're flowing. So whether it's on the phone or in person or however you connect, start telling the story of that. Start putting that energy out there forward, not from trying, from I already have this, and that will bring that in eventually. But we would stop trying to contact her. We would just let that rest and do it from I already have this. Hopefully that answers your question. And we have 5 minutes left. I'm getting the 5 high sign from Marge. And here's another question. I'm having a tough time lately with becoming overwhelmed by other people's negative energies. How can I keep my boundaries? And that's from Susan Rothstein. Susan, thank you. That's a wonderful question. And the answer is not exactly what most people expect. Most people expect things about closing your edges, protecting yourself, protecting your energy, and all of that. And those things will work to some extent. But what we would like you to do is we would like you to work on grounding. People who are feeling other people's emotions and are picking up a lot of other people's emotions are empaths. Yes, that's true. And all of us who do this work are empaths. But what happens is we're not as grounded as we think we are. So the bottom of our energy field is actually somewhere around our knees or maybe down around our calves. And the bottom of our energy field should be going about 2 to 3 feet below our feet. So what we would like you to do is work on grounding. Find some really good grounding meditations about connecting to the earth, about using the hora line, the central line, connecting with that, connecting through your feet so you're grounded through 3 ports and ground, and that will help. And as you practice grounding and being more grounded, you will not be overwhelmed and you won't feel other people's negative energy as much. One of the things when you're feeling the energy of other people, just to check in, you want to ask, is this mine or somebody else's? And then say a mantra to the effect of, I am feeling my own energy and I'm letting everybody else's go. I'm accepting highest and best. I'm only allowing the highest and best to come through, or I'm allowing nothing to come through. It does take some practice. It does take some shifting in your energy field, but you can do it. The biggest thing is grounding and getting your energy field bigger and stronger and down below underneath your feet, and you won't be feeling it as much. You'll be able to modulate. Good. Let's see if there are any other questions for the guides. Marge is saying something to me. I can't quite understand what she's saying. I think that's it. Okay. So I think that's everything. We really appreciate everybody who was here today. And I want to say thank you to my wife, Marge, who always does a wonderful job. I want to thank Neshi at Star Nations for everything she does for all of us. We really appreciate that. Thank you for everybody who's watching and asking questions and as part of this. Marge and I really appreciate your part in our co-creative world here. And if there are any subjects that you would like us to do a show about, message me. We'd be happy to look into that. There's my email. Marge is putting up the email. The meditation and prayer group is also on April 22nd, which I said earlier. And I think we're all set. So on behalf of Marge and everybody here at Star Nations, I'm Ed Langan. I'm your host of Life Wisdom with Ed Langan. Have a wonderful month, and we will see you next month. And I wish you light and love. Take care. Bye.